Hello, everyone. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Are your oscillators tuned now?
They are tuned. How many? One, two, three, four, five. My six oscillators.
Six? Wow. I'm so curious which oscillator is doing, but we will talk about it a little bit later.
Yes, of course. Oh my gosh.
And sorry, everyone, for being late a little bit, but that's, mom life. We both have kids, and sometimes it just takes some minutes longer.
It's
Hi,
true.
Sophie. Hello, hello. Nice to see you. Hi, everyone. So,
Um, oh, I just realized I'm gonna try to look at the chat. Can I look at the chat at the
yes,
same time? How do
the
I do
the
that?
comment section
Yes.
here, I on in the upper right corner, I guess.
Oh, I got it. Sorry.
Cooking
Okay.
pasta. I'm getting hungry.
Mm.
Pasta is always good with lots of parmesan. Hi, Mark. Hello.
Hi.
Nice to see you all. So, I think we could start now, right?
We can. I'm gonna
Yeah.
quickly post on you on my
Oh, yes,
Instagram
that's
that we're going
important.
live.
Yeah,
But yeah,
do that.
um,
I totally agree. Hard Seven Craft. The album is beautiful.
oh my gosh, thank you so much.
From my side, also, congratulations again on the beautiful album. It's such a joy to listen to it. It's really
Thank you.
with every time I get to explore more details in it. It's really, really wonderful to listen to.
Thank you. It's funny. It's like, I mean, you know how it is. Like, you make an album, but by the time the album gets released, like, you're on to the next thing. So, like, I hear the tracks and I'm like, oh, that's right. I've been like doing other explorations now. So, like, going back to this is fun. Um,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally get that. Oh, thank you so much, Hard Seven Craft. Yeah, maybe. Oh, I'll let you post and then
Sorry.
all good.
Um,
And I love it that we are both in black.
I love black. I think like black and pink are my favorite colors. If
Perfect
I could have
combo,
like,
I guess.
yeah, I want to have all my wires. I want them to all like be. I want to get rid of some of these blues and some of the
Blue,
grays.
really? That's my favorite
Yeah.
color. You can
Oh,
give me your
really?
blues, but I also
Okay.
love the pink, so
Yes, we can definitely
we
trade.
can we can deal something there, I guess.
Yes,
But I also
that would
thought
be.
about, if some people have, all their patch cables like in white or everything in gray, or it's really stylish. But on the other hand, if you have so many cables and you want to during a live gig and it's dark and you want to find that one cable and everything is the same color, what do you do then?
That's true. That's a really good point. I think I just
By the
like.
way,
Oh, sorry.
do you use some colors for, those are for modulation, those are for audio signals, or something like that, or do you just take the from the length?
It's
uh
all, yeah, it's all length because I feel like I
yeah,
never have enough of like the lengths that I'm looking for. So you always end up just like kind of grabbing whatever you can.
yeah, definitely. I still have it, as I studied at the School of Audio Engineering, and our teacher always said, as short as possible and as long as necessary. That was the sentence, I guess. And I
Okay.
still have that in my brain. So,
I like that. I like that. I think I think I'm kind of I like sometimes you see pictures of people posting their modular gear and their wires are like so perfect. And I'm like, how? How do you have it so perfect? Mine are just like a disaster always. Like, because I can never, I just, I don't know.
But I think it's also, yeah, it's maybe what your character is like. But I'm also like, just a little bit chaotic, and that's also the beauty of modular, not having everything so neat and.
Right. That's no,
But
that's a
I.
great point. I am a very chaotic person. I like,
But your
hence
music doesn't sound chaotic at all. That's funny.
that's a good point. I'm very structured with the music. I think because
Hmm.
because my background is like I went to college for music, so I was a performance major and a education
Oh,
major. So
really?
so I have very, a very strict, rigid, like just
Wow.
compositional like approach. So
But before you get into that too much, that would be part of my first question. How did you get into music in the first place? What were your milestones? What was important in your musical journey so far?
yeah, I've always played like percussion and keyboard, um, and I studied jazz performance in college, um, and I double majored in education. But I just
Mhm.
after college I kept performing, so I never went into education. um, but yeah, really I've kind of played keyboards and percussion and
And which
synthesizers.
percussions? Which percussion did you play?
I played like mallet percussion, so like keyboard based percussion, like marimbas or vibraphone, xylophone, that kind of thing. Not the drums. I was not a drummer. um,
Beautiful. I love the sounds actually. I think they would go well together with modular
I
synth
think
sounds. Did
so.
you try that yet, or would you need
No,
too many arms?
I actually I sold some of my equipment to get this modular gear.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Um, it's because like before I kind of lost interest in music and like performing, and I could never like figure out like the sound I wanted was never accessible to me, and I never could achieve the voice and sound I wanted. But then when I encountered modular, something just clicked. I was like, oh, that's what I've been looking for. Like that extra bit of control and experimentation combined with the ability to still play like on a keyboard and control the pitches, but then have like that just complete control. Because I don't deal well with like presets on like synthesizers or something. Like I just like don't. For some reason, it feels like wrong. I don't know why, but when like I try to play with I just like I'm not inspired by it because I need to. I feel like I just need to have that sense of control from the ground up, which I get with modular.
And to be able to really have your own voice, I guess, because it's so in depth what you can control on your modular.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like
exactly.
that. I totally get it. It's yeah. I've with presets. It's sometimes if you want to get something done quickly, but it's not really then I guess from the heart and not really expressing
Right.
what one wants to express.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think about it like a violin. Like all violins are like the same instrument, but each one is a little bit unique, and each player is definitely unique because of your physiology and like how strong you are with like your fingers and like just how much vibrato you add. Just like all these little things add together to like create a uniqueness, which I don't know, like I feel like modular gives me that ability to like get that fine grain control over the sound. So
Definitely, yeah. Nice. And may I ask how you, when you were young, when you were a child, did you how did you get into music? So did your parents want you to get those piano lessons and flute lessons,
Um,
or were you interested in music already as a child, and how did that came about when you were younger?
yeah, I think like I was definitely like encouraged because like different family members also were into music. Like my brother is a clarinetist, so he's older than me, so he was already involved with music, and so it was just kind of expected that I would be involved in music in some capacity. So, but I had like a little, like one of those like Yamaha toy keyboards, basically. But I would just like, I loved it because you could program different sounds and record what you were doing and then like stack them. So that was really fun.
So that was your first instrument?
Kind of. Yeah,
Cool.
I think
Not
so.
bad. I think I started with the flute. I
Oh,
didn't.
really? Oh my gosh, I love the flute. The flute is so nice.
I really like flute sounds too, actually, but yeah,
Yes.
not very good at it.
Aw, it's a beautiful
Ah, but
instrument.
definitely. And so you just kept playing keyboard and got your lessons, I guess, and you stuck with it until you then went, yeah, studying it.
Yeah, I went to college. I went to Berkeley, in Boston, um, and I like really went into jazz, and I loved jazz. So I played jazz for a while, and it was fun, but I don't know, it just didn't like it didn't click with me, so I wasn't able to like fully feel passionate about it in a
Mhm.
way.
But I guess you performed a lot then when you majored in performance.
Yeah, I used to do a decent amount of performing. Um, so it was easy to bring all of that over to modular. So it's like, because it's the same once you, like the preparation, practicing,
Mhm.
tuning, like all these things, they're the same.
But did you perform back then with like a band or a solo, or how can I
Yeah, I
imagine?
used to play in jazz bands. I used to I used to tour around with jazz bands. It was fun.
Mhm. And now you're solo on stage. As I saw in
Yes, I
some
have not.
videos.
I've not really like tried playing modular with other people. It's kind of a hard. I don't know how you do it.
That's something else, I guess. Yeah, that's. But I think it's nice. I saw once, for example, a concert from Sam Prekop in Munich, which was really beautiful, and he had a drummer with him, and I loved that combo also.
Yeah, I could see that.
And
That would be nice.
definitely, but yeah, I think you need to control the modular differently, I guess, when playing with other people, or just communicate
Yeah,
well enough so everything is in
right.
timing, or you are the you give the timing or something like that.
Yeah, that's true. You've played with people, right? Like I feel like I've seen
I
you.
I play with a friend of mine, Anatol Locker, but he also has then his modular with him, or a laptop or other gear, and it's all clockable, syncable with the clock, with the cable and stuff. So that's mostly pretty easy. But
I
I don't know, in a really band context, it could be
hmm
very funny
It's
to do
tricky.
that, actually. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like
definitely.
playing like
And
chord changes and like yeah,
that's
just
true.
it would be hard to I don't know, it'd be hard to sync all that, but I'm sure it's possible.
Definitely, with a lot of rehearsing, I
Yes.
guess. And yeah, and then did you saw your first modular online then, or did someone
Um,
in your town have in the shop or something?
so I mean, I've always kind of known like about modular, but it always felt like this far off thing, like not accessible to me. It was like too
Mhm.
complicated. Like only like really serious people do this thing. Like,
Yeah,
um,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
yeah. Um, and like watching like Suzanne Gianni, like videos of her, like just being mesmerized. But it always seemed, yeah, out of reach. But then I don't know, it was like random. I saw this Instagram post that this organization in Philadelphia was putting on like a modular weekend or like a some yeah like a modular weekend basically called the it was called the Low Pass. Um, and my friend, or now my friend, um, Jerry Cava was like leading a beginner module, beginners modular, like free class, and so I did it, and like I was just like, oh, this is modular. I get it now. Like I already know all this stuff. Why did I think this was so hard? Like so, then I just started buying a few random things, and then before I knew it, I was out of control and just obsessed with it. Um,
Into
and
the
I,
rabbit hole.
yes, exactly. Your videos were actually quite instrumental in like a lot of my choices and where I went.
I'm the reason you lost money. You had
Oh my
had to buy.
gosh.
But it's
Yeah,
also the same with my friend Anatol. He also always shows me, new plugins or new modules, and then, I just can't resist. And the same
right.
the other way around. It's just
Exactly.
too much nice gear out there. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. If
but
you find something that like, oh, sorry, if you find something that
okay,
you love the sound of, it's hard to resist. But
definitely. I totally get that. But when you come from this jazz background and then get into modular synthesizers, wasn't that, you know, how did you learn about how to patch, your sound,
oh,
how oscillators work, filters, VCAs, and all
so I
that?
guess like I kind of already knew a lot of it just from because I have played synthesizers for a long time. Just like I've been involved with it. I just never. I always, for some reason, thought modular was like more complex because on like a regular synthesizer, it's like all kind of made already, and you just kind of like move the stuff around, and you don't. I don't know. I never like gave it much thought, but so once I saw what it was on the modular, I was like, oh, that's just like an ADSR. Oh, that's just an oscillator. That's like I was like, why did I not realize that's what this was? Like,
Yeah, yeah. The single components, yeah, just packed into modules.
yeah.
Definitely. And so when you worked with or played with synthesizers before, did you just learn it by yourself, or was it at Berkeley as well? Or
Yeah, I mean, we had like basic classes at Berkeley, but
Mhm.
I just did a lot myself. I used to do like, I used to do a lot of experimental music in college um, with my friend, and we would do like circuit bending. We would like make instruments. So there was a
Really?
lot.
How cool!
Yeah. So there was a lot of sound experimentation going
Do you
on.
still have them? Those circuit bent instruments?
No, no. I still have this one thing. My friend, his name's Steve Pine. Oh, he made this back in college. He made this,
Oh
um,
wow!
and like I've kept it all these years. It doesn't even work anymore. I don't even remember what it did, but I just love it, especially because he made it, and it's like I just
It
I don't
looks
know,
pretty cool, actually.
right?
Maybe he can repair it or something.
I think yeah,
Or maybe put some CV and gate inputs
yes,
into.
exactly. Oh my gosh.
Oh, nice. Great. And then yeah, you were hooked by modular synthesizers, and your setup grew and grew.
Yeah.
And then you decided to make an album. Why and how did you decide to make that?
um, Good question. I felt like I felt like with the modular, I finally like found a voice that like fit me, that felt authentic. Um, and I didn't know like I'm being a mom, it's hard to have the time to like really just like get out there and do gigs and like get back into the music scene. It's just like so I was like maybe I'll just make an album and that's my way of getting this music out there. Um, and so I think that that was kind of my goal, is just to this like kind of inner need to express whatever is happening inside of me through music, and an album felt like a good way to do that.
Definitely. And did you have like a theme in the beginning for it, like sci-fi-ish sounds, or a feeling you wanted to express, or was it just just let's patch the modular and see what comes out, or
Um, I think it kind of like developed after a bunch of tracks came together. Then I like kind of found that it was like, oh, this is like a new a new era, this is a new path for me. So it's like a new light means this is like the modular and the whole inspiration of it is like a new light in me, like growing. And it feels really good to like be inspired and be able to communicate your emotions through music. Um, and that's and I've always done it, but now for some reason with the modular, it's like an authentic voice. So that feels new and that feels wonderful. So
and then it just, I guess, it flowed somehow,
yeah,
because the whole album, it has like, it's there are different tracks, but they all sound like, one whole piece. Definitely.
thank you. Yeah, I definitely like used some compositional elements and like similar keys and like moving from the relative major and minor. So it's just like they do share like similar tendencies. So
Hmm. Hmm. And did you, with the modular, everybody, I guess, works differently. Some have modules to get the single sounds into the DAW. Do you work with Ableton as well as, or with another DAW? Ableton, I guess.
yeah, I do use Ableton. When I first started, that's what I was doing. I was putting like each sound source into Ableton because that's what I was used to, right? Like every instrument goes into a different. But then I just realized that it's better as a performance instrument, not as like separate tracks. So now I just everything is live. The only thing I use Ableton for is MIDI. So I will loop MIDI, I'll record MIDI, I'll sometimes like live track MIDI with Ableton, but that's just controlling the modular because I don't really like sequencers. They don't. I feel like I'm just so used to Ableton and so used to that way of doing things that it's really hard for me to switch to like these more traditional sequencers on like that modular sequencers. So I've found it's easier and just more um, intuitive for me to use Ableton as my like sequencer. So
So you play the keyboard live when you record the track and then send it into Ableton, and Ableton sends it back to your modular, or how did you set
I
it up?
record, yeah. So I record like MIDI sequences into Ableton live um, on the keyboard, and then Ableton plays them back, and I use the endorphins shuttle control to
Hmm. Hmm.
convert MIDI to CV, and it works really well. I was using the Hermod um, to do that before, but it wasn't really good at if you sent I found that if I sent too much MIDI data at it, it tended to overload and like glitch a
Oh,
lot.
really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was the older one. I don't know about the newer ones. Maybe they're better, but the
Mm-hmm.
endorphins is perfect. It never has a problem. So I'm happy with
Mm-hmm.
it.
And then so you're recording your sequences or melodies live, and but you also, like you modulate, one can hear it that you modulate your sounds and have also different some layers of sound in your tracks. And how do you do that with only two arms?
Oh my. That's what's cool about Ableton is because you can do all that live looping and live tracking with MIDI. So I'll set up the patch so like certain things like LFOs and different modulations are kind of always happening, and
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
so I can like have that going, and then I'll play my thing, um, and then I can loop the thing, like the melody, and then I can go back and start modulating it as it
Ah,
loops. Um,
okay. So you have like, you don't have the arranger view then, you have the other view in Ableton
yes,
going for. I
the
see.
looping view, whatever that's
Yeah,
called. I
okay.
forget.
Yeah. I
Yes,
mostly use the arranger view, so
I
that's,
see.
um,
Yes,
and
yes.
then and then you have like, how do you have like four bars, for example, then set up, or do
So
you record more clips then into it and switch between them? Hmm.
there's lots of currently I don't know if you can wait. I don't know if you can see my screen, but um,
It's very small, I guess, but yeah.
there's lots of clips on this. Um,
Hmm.
there's one, two, three, four, five. There's 5 tracks, but there's 5 like rows. So there's like a lot. There's like almost 30,
30 clips
30,
then, or
30 clips. Yes. And then what I'll
okay.
do is
Hmm.
I'll trigger them at different times. Depending, some songs I do have like one clip, and it really is just me live playing something on the keyboard and then using my other hand to like modulate.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
really depends on the song, like, and like what's happening. The song that I have queued up for today is a lot of clips, so not
Hmm.
as much live keyboard playing, but
But
more
a
of
lot of
compositional.
live. Hmm. A
And
lot
I
of
like
live modulating then, I guess.
yes, yes, yeah.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So everyone works so differently because, yeah, you always have to decide, I guess, what you want to do live then in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
what you pre-record or pre-set up with LFOs and stuff. So it works.
Yeah. What is okay? So then, what is your basic like performance setup?
For me, it's also always different, actually. So I usually decide on one way to go for the next shows, I guess, and then I stick to it. With at the moment, I'm totally into the Buchla music easel. So yeah, I have some. I usually do it that way, that I record some sounds and tracks beforehand onto the Octatrack or the iPad or something like that, and then I play live. Now in this case with the Buchla music easel as much as I can. Yeah, and have some live effects, which I also modulate or mangle or something like that.
So do you play like the melodies on the easel?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have like a little device also from Endorphins with Loop Pop, a collaboration. It's called Plus. It's wait a second. This little thing here, so it can latch my arpeggios.
Oh wow, that's
It's
so
very
cool.
handy. Yeah, that's perfect for for the live performance. So yeah, I I have some more free hands than for other things. I guess it's always yeah. You
Yeah,
always have
it
to
sounds
decide what
similar.
to.
Yeah. Yeah,
Definitely,
like
yeah.
so you wait, so you loop the arpeggios with that device? Is that what it does?
It latches the notes I'm
Oh,
playing
it
and
latches.
into
I
the
see.
arpeggiator, and then it's yeah. I
Okay.
usually have a random arpeggiator, so it doesn't get too boring too quickly.
Sure, sure.
Exactly, yeah. And then I always change around the chords and notes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I love the Buchla
So
easel. I want one so bad.
yeah, I waited about I don't know like 4 years on one because I looked for a vintage one before they reissued the music easel, the official ones, and nobody wanted to sell one, I guess, or I didn't find them quickly enough or something like that. And then I saw on Superbooth that they were reissuing the music easel, and then yeah, I immediately pre-ordered one, and then I had to wait, of course, a little bit longer. And now it's always it's a little bit um, too bad for my modular because I'm playing all the time now with the Buchla,
Oh my
but
gosh.
I'll come back to it
It's beautiful though. I
soon.
love when you post videos of it. It always sounds so good.
Yeah, it really, especially because it's one thought out instrument somehow. You can do so much with it in this ecosystem.
Yeah.
I mean, I also know people who have like the Buchla systems, the bigger ones, and they're tempting too, but also very expensive. But the music easel in itself, it doesn't look like much, but so far I didn't miss anything. I didn't buy an extra card, the ones you can put in, because so
Yes.
far it's really I'm still exploring, and it's very beautiful. Yeah, but modular is also I mean it's way more
Right.
customizable and a whole other world
It's
in
true.
itself.
That's why I got all the
Definitely.
Buchla or a lot of the Buchla modules. I love
Yeah,
the
you
Buchla
did.
modules.
Yeah. Yeah, but maybe we could now, if you want to, go to the performance part and then into the nitty-gritty,
Yeah.
what modules you have and stuff, and what you chose for your setup.
Sure, definitely. I'll do a short performance of what's the song? Oh my gosh, Phases of Pulse.
Phases of pulse. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I'll do this.
Perfect. Then I'll mute myself and
Okay.
put you on the big screen and
I
see you in
will.
a bit.
Okay.
So beautiful, really.
Thank
I
you.
could have just dozed off for
Oh my
like
gosh. Um,
way more, way longer.
I hope the sound
So
quality was
good.
okay on the live stream.
Yeah, it's a little bit compressed, but I think if
Yeah.
people like it, yeah, it was Phases of Pulse for everybody who is watching, and it's on Danielle's new album, A New Light, and I posted the link while you were playing, so
Oh, good.
people can hear it then in high resolution. So beautiful. So we already have a question for your setup from Hard
Sure.
Seven Craft. Wait a second. I think I can blend it in even.
Oh, wow.
I can. I can notice that Danielle has several cases, so I wonder how she manages and organizes them. Do each of them have a special function in her compositions?
Great question. Um, so I can go through, let me think. So the middle case is like, this is like the primary case. So if I had like a performance and I was like, I do not have time or energy to carry all three cases, then I just take the center case and it has three oscillators. So there's a lot of variety you can do with three oscillators. It has like an envelope generator. It has a bunch of mixers. It has the voltage regulator. It has the spectral processor. So it has like a lot of things that you can do just with that case by itself. But if I want to like make an album, for instance, and really like have a variety of sounds, then I add basically more oscillators, more envelope generators, more voltage processors, another delay and reverb, um, more filters. So it's just kind of like two of the same, but like more over here on this one. Um, I guess they both can technically work by themselves, but really this center one is works by itself. And then of course the ARP, um, which is kind of like a little modular, but you can't, it's set. You can't change out the modules. Um, yeah, I don't know if that answers the question.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's very logical. And I also have a question that I forgot to ask also last time. Do you also have like, because your melodies are pretty fast often, do you also have an arpeggiator somehow somewhere, or is it do you play it in more slow and then speed it up, or
Oh yeah, a lot of it's arpeggiators, but I like do. How can I put it? I have the arpeggiator like set really like long, so it's not just like holding a chord. It's I play all the melodies, and then the longer arpeggiator will just create a really long. I don't know if that makes sense. I
so it
kind of use the
adds just
arpeggiator.
notes?
I use the arpeggiator as like a melody looper, basically. So if you leave it
Mhm.
on, like on
It
Ableton,
then
I don't
adds
know,
the notes?
it kind of loops the notes. So it creates that
Mhm.
effect of like the arpeggiator effect, but it's the melodies I'm playing in live, if that makes sense.
So you put in a chord and then he arpeggiates them into a
um,
rhythmical pattern.
Kind of. I generally don't put in a chord, I'll play the melody. And as long as you don't lift up, as long as there's always one note being held, it'll keep stacking the
Ah,
notes.
I see. Ah,
Yeah,
okay. So that's how you set it up in Ableton, or
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, with the Ableton arpeggiator, and then you can have it. You can have the retrigger set differently. So sometimes I do like retrigger on pitch or retrigger on um, like note change or like rhythm. Um,
Mhm.
so those will give you different effects in your arpeggiation, um, depending on how you want to do that. and then it, the hold. So if you put the hold on, it'll just keep stacking basically forever. So it's really
Mm-hmm.
cool. That's another like benefit I find to using like Ableton for me, is this just like this unlimited length.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you say like, oh, I'm going to do a 16 bar piece.
Yeah.
It's like
Mm-hmm.
I just hit hit record or whatever and then just go. And whatever like I improvise, I can kind of fine tune it, and it's just, oh, was that 18 bars? Oh, was that 64 bars? Oh, was that like 10 minutes? Like it doesn't matter. It's just like,
That's nice. I
yeah,
love that. I need to try that. I need to try that definitely.
it's
And
fun.
do you and do you so but to do that, I guess you need to decide beforehand in what scale you're in, or does it just happen while you're in?
Yeah, I feel like that's it depends like how I'm composed. Like some things I'll compose like on the piano, um, and I'll like write them on paper. Like I have a lot of stuff on notation. So like if I'm performing, like when I'm performing live, a lot of times I'll have my sheet music, and then read the melody, um, and the chord changes. So sometimes I'll do that. Other times I'll just improvise, and kind of whatever happens. But it's all there.
Mhm.
Yes, there's always like a scale or a chord change, depending on how I feel. But
Mhm. And do you prefer to stay in one scale, or do you usually switch, or how do you do
it
that?
it definitely depends on the song. But I have found on modular that I've been more paying attention to like, so before modular I would like compose, like pretty long pieces with lots of chord changes and lots of movement and all of that. But now with modular, I'm finding that like it's really interesting to use the manipulation of sound itself as a compositional tool. So like I will have the same key or the same melody kind of playing over and over, but every time as it plays over and over, you're manipulating the sound, and it creates movement, and it creates emotion and context. Um, and you move it through different parts of the modular gear, and so it's really a it's you can definitely do fun things with limited harmonic or melodic content, um, just
Very
focusing. Yes,
hypnotizing
exactly.
pieces, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And so how many layers of melodies do you usually or often stack
Um,
over one another?
so it varies from like 5 to 1, depending on
Hmm.
the song. It can vary a lot. Sometimes I may have one song on the album that's like six stacked unique
Six
oscillators.
melodies or
Well, like melodies, counter melodies, um,
mhm.
almost like um, composing like Bach or something. Like you just have a lot of like melodies and counter melodies all moving in and out of each other,
Mhm. And
which is
how
fun too because it's not like playing a chord, because you can't play a
mhm.
chord, so you have to think in another way, which I really appreciate. It really like sets a new limitation and makes you think a different way than you might normally.
Yes, yes, it does. But when you have like your six melodies, for example, in one track, how do you have then six tracks in Ableton to record it, or how do you?
Right, so it'd be like each oscillator would have its own track in Ableton, and then because like the endorphins shuttle control, it has oh my god, 16, no, yeah, it has 16 CV outs, so you
Mm-hmm.
can have a lot. um, but then like with the ARP, a lot of times, since it's not really designed for like it's not designed so that the three oscillators work as three voices. Like you can do that, but a lot of times um, they might be working on the same rhythm, but maybe just different notes for the different oscillators, but the same
Mm-hmm.
rhythm. So almost like a chord.
Interesting. There is totally different way of working. That's so cool. And
Yeah.
I think in the Bandcamp listening party, you also mentioned that you sometimes also use your oscillators, some of your oscillators for modulation purposes.
Yes.
So,
Yes. I love doing that, especially because with the two, that's what like really opened my eyes, I think, was this the Buchla oscillator that has
the,
the 258T, so it's just like the dual oscillator.
yeah, I love that too. Yeah, it's
It's
beautiful.
so nice. But like because it has two inputs on each that
Mm-hmm.
can, modulate the sound. You have the FM input and then you have that other input. I don't know what they call it, but um, I realized, and like, you can cross patch them so the output of one can go into the other. And then so sometimes I will dedicate one oscillator to like as a modulator, and then I'll put that through like a molt, and then like put the molt into an attenuator, and then you can like attenuate out different things. So you actually like end up spreading it really far and like getting a lot of variety from um, that one oscillator. But I love it because like you'll be playing a melody, and then just if you have the second oscillator going into it at like a relatively low pitch or low frequency, and then use the FM input, let's say, if you just twist it just a little bit at like a certain melody point, it like really just like creates this like warble, or like it just pulls it and it's like this vibrato of I just love that feeling. Um,
Mm-hmm. Nice. Interesting. I'll have to write that all down and try it.
oh my god, I'm pretty sure I learned it from you watching your video.
I really, yeah, I posted some videos back then. I remember. Yeah, it's really beautiful. I love it also because it's really small with its two oscillators in it and very affordable too. And
Yes,
sounds great. So,
exactly. I think it really does. It sounds beautiful, and I love how um, like you can change the waveform just with like the knob. So you go like
yeah,
through like a
that's great. That's
yeah,
beautiful.
it's so
And what
beautiful.
other and what are the other oscillators you have in your system?
Oh, I have this like mosaic. It's just like a little 1U oscillator.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, it's actually very similar to the Buchla one. It has like pretty much all the same things, except it doesn't have you can't just twist the knob to go between the different waveforms.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what I end up doing is I put it through the Buchla voltage processor, and then I
Mm-hmm.
use
Mm-hmm.
that to do the same thing that the Buchla oscillators do. Natively you can like, uh, and then I just have another Buchla dual oscillator over here. So
I also thought about that. Yeah,
yeah, they're great.
they're great.
And then I use the three on the ARP. So
Mm-hmm.
those are my oscillators. Yeah, I think that's all. Yes.
And what effects? So, if you had to, like, or how should I put it? If you only had like you could only take three modules with you on an island or so,
Oh my.
what which ones would you pick, or five, or
um,
I don't know.
I love the Dismodus Versio. I use
The
that
delay
for
reverb.
yes. I think
Hmm.
it sounds so good. It's like very like you can do reverb and delay with it, and it's so small and it really has a high quality sound. Um, so I love that. Definitely the Buchla oscillator, and an envelope generator. The probably the Buchla envelope generator. I love that thing. It's just so simple. Like, I mean, it's complex, but there's something, maybe it's not simple, maybe that's the wrong word. It's like intuitive to me, at least, for the way my brain works. Like, just by looking at it and like twisting knobs, I know what it's gonna do. I can see what it's gonna do. Like, it's just very, it's right there. Like, I love that about it because I had the uh what's the one that it's I had the other one that's very similar to it by the other company. I forget, but it was like they had like digital buttons and like it was very confusing. Like I couldn't like figure out what mode I was in ever. Like
Yeah, yeah. I think it's so important to find the right modules for, yeah, how you put it, how your brain works actually.
yeah,
It's so yeah. I also had to sell some modules or buy some other ones just to also. I usually now go for modules that are more direct, without too much menu diving, without
yes,
any button combos, which I can't remember then or would have to read again. For some modules, I would do that because I love them maybe dearly, but usually I think, the nicest thing to just it's there, what it does, and it's very immediate.
yes. One that is exactly what I need. I need that immediate. Like I can't if there's a menu or a button combination, I'm out. I can't do it.
So Sophie has a question if there are any filters.
Ah, yes. Um, So I don't know. I mean, would you call this a filter? The spectral processor. It works like a filter. Um,
Probably.
that's why like I love that one. So I usually
But
what
it's
I
huge.
do, it is so huge. It takes up so much space, but honestly, it's worth it. It just has such a good sound, um, and then it has such a variety of sound because you can key out different frequencies and only have the frequencies you want, or you can like pan through the frequencies, and there's just so much variety. So I love to like automate a lot of that like through different LFOs and whatnot. I also tend
And
to um, my main voice these days is actually so I use um, so I have this Rolly, what's this called? The Rolly Seaboard. I have that now and I love it. Um, so what I do is I control one of the oscillators with the Rolly Seaboard, so I get like that, um, the smooth gliding between any note just by sliding my finger. Um, and then I push that oscillator through the spectral processor, um, and then that becomes kind of like my these days, not on the album because I didn't have the Rolly back then, but um, that becomes like the main voice, and you can do so much with just even one voice because all of a sudden with the spectral processor you can actually take out the sound of each frequency. So like when you separate out the frequencies, all of a sudden it's like different melodies come out of that. So it's really crazy. It's really fun. I love that. Um,
and so you modulate the volumes of the single frequencies, or what do you exactly
you can,
modulate
yes,
then?
yes, you
Mhm.
can. Sometimes I'll modulate the single frequency depending on like what I'm trying to do, or I'll modulate the band pass so that it just goes back and forth
Ah, I
through the
see.
frequencies.
Hmm.
And with the Rolly, because it's uh, I don't know what do you call the advanced MIDI thing. Uh, you can just slide your finger like up
Uh,
and down.
yeah. Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so I map right to left, up to down, and then like how hard you push it. So you can map all of those to different CV, and then I can
Hmm.
map each one of those to a different like frequency or whatever. And then all of a sudden, just like by moving your finger a little bit, you can do a lot of modulation.
That sounds so cool. And do you have to do that to map that in a software, I guess? beforehand,
Yes, you
or
do have to
yeah,
map it through
okay.
software, and then
Mhm.
you on the endorphins. So
MPE. Yeah.
MPE. Oh
Sorry,
yeah, that's it.
MP Thank you, Sophie.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, cool, nice. I'm very, very curious. Looking forward to your next tracks then with all the possibilities.
Thank you. Yes, it'll be fun.
And we have another question from B Patron. The liner notes mention that you feel modular synthesis is deeply intuitive. Can you say more about that? Is it related to what you said about focusing on shaping sound and less on melody?
I find that like I feel that like I can use with modular. Um, I feel I can use my ear so much more than on other instruments because a tiny twist of the knob has a perceptual change of the sound quality, and moving, changing the patch has a perceptual change of the sound quality. Um, so to me, that's what's intuitive, is that when I touch something or move something, I immediately hear that's change, and then I can remember that change just because I like it. If I like it, I'll remember it, and then um, the more I remember, the more I can like stack things together and know what's going to happen. Um, so I think that to me is what's intuitive about it. That's why I think like what you were saying, like if there's a lot of menu diving or button combinations, then it's not intuitive because I don't know what's happening. Like things are just happening and you don't know what's really happening, and you can't just like twist a knob and it'll change. Like that's why I like a lot of these buchla ones, because like you can just twist it slightly and you know exactly what's happening. Um, like the envelope. That's why I like this envelope generator too, because it's just like manipulating the envelopes and having them recycle themselves. That can do
Which
so
one? Which one
much.
are you? Which one are
Oh,
you talking about?
the buchla quad function generator.
Ah, yes, yes. That one is great.
Yeah, it's so good, and it's large, but like it's just intuitive, if that makes sense, because you know what you're doing, you can see what's happening. Um, there's nothing overly just like digital about it. I don't know if any of that makes sense. I hope it does.
Totally. I think it's also funny because everyone who gets into modular feels that it's so complicated and not maybe in the beginning not so intuitive, but exactly that you depending on which modules you choose. But if you choose the ones where one button does one has one function and you see everything what is happening, and with one knob you don't have only if you don't have macros or something, multiple function with one knob. But if you don't have that, then it's very, one knob does exactly that one thing.
Yes, and actually,
And that
I had for a while I had a oh my gosh, what was this device? A make noise Strega. I had a Strega for a while. Um, and I loved the sound quality. It was really good sound quality. But I found it very frustrating because I didn't know what was happening. Like you would patch things, you would twist things, but it would never like make sense what was happening. Like I could not, it just didn't, I couldn't figure it out because it was doing all this stuff behind the scenes that you don't really grasp. And I think that's the point that I misunderstood, was that that's the point of the module is that it's like its own world and its own sound. But for like where I'm at and like what I'm trying to achieve, I need something that's much more straightforward. I need that like granular control from the very beginning of the sound generation to the end of like all the modulations that happen to that waveform throughout its life in the process.
Hmm. Interesting. And maybe another question. You mentioned the Desmodio Versio, or what was it called?
Yeah,
The
Desmodus
reverb,
Versio.
the delay, and the spectral processor. And what other effects do you use? You usually, I guess, yeah, modulate your sounds or process your sounds with the reverb delay, with FM modulation, and with the spectral processor. Is there anything else you use for processing?
For processing sound, um, I do have this Echo Z I sometimes use.
Hmm.
It's a tip top. It's like a tip top reverb or delay module. Um, I tend to use it like I'll put LFOs through it or just different things. But I don't like it too much because it's one of those digital things where you have to know what's like the button combinations to get to. So I
Oh.
usually just I have it in like one mode. It just stays in that mode all the time, and I know what to expect. So, and it's usually like the pitch like distortion mode or something that like it really like messes with the pitch. So if I want like a
Hmm.
spooky sound or something, sometimes I'll just like put that on and like send stuff through
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
That can be fun. I also like the woggle
Nice. Hmm.
bug. Do you have the woggle
Hmm.
bug? That's a fun one.
From Make Noise, the one, yeah. Hmm.
Yes, yeah.
What do you use it for?
Sometimes what I'll do is I'll put the CV through it. Sorry, the pitch CV. Sometimes I'll put through it, and then just like ever so slightly, um, have the influence like twist that knob just or the what's it called the ego and the id knob. I'll like twist it barely above the the lowest
Hmm.
point, and then when you do that, I find that it like really just like creates this like almost like a random wobble of the pitch.
Hmm.
So instead of because if you alter your pitch with like an LFO, it's pretty even. But if you do it with that and you just do it ever so slightly, it like creates this like crazy warble effect on your pitch that is like very subtle.
Cool.
Do you,
Great.
do you have that one?
I have the Wogglebug, yeah, but I didn't use it in that way yet. I just to, use the outputs to modulate um different points in my modular.
Yeah, I liked using it as noise too. Sometimes I'll just you know put it on as like almost a noise, like a wave.
Hmm. Yeah, great. Do you have anything else you want to mention or show before we slowly get maybe to the end, because we are already streaming over an hour?
Oh my gosh. That's good. I think we're pretty good. I love the ARP. I do have the ARP. Um, it's such a
Yeah,
cool.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, it sounds really good. Um,
Do you
yeah,
do you
no.
use the oscillators mainly as a sound source on it, or do you use all the, you also have like the processor section and the sample and hold section and stuff?
I use both. I tend to, yeah, I tend to. A lot of times I do just end up using it as like a sound source, but um, I do use the voltage processor to do manipulation of the like I'll send one melody into it and then I'll start mangling that melody with the processor and then put that to the three different oscillators. And then also I love how, the oscillators have FM and they have all kinds of inputs that you can really start to
Yeah, yeah. I love that too. All the, yeah, the inputs, the modulation inputs below it. Yeah. Hmm.
Yes, those are my favorite. I love modulation inputs.
Nice. But you usually, so when you play live, you take your middle case, the one in front of you. Hmm.
I do. It's just
But
easier.
that's, but it's a great concept actually, because I don't know if you have a car or when you're traveling, then it's just not possible to carry around those three, and then you just
Exactly.
can use the one. So that's actually also my goal always is to be able to play a beautiful set with just one not too big case or instrument, whatever it is, doesn't actually matter. Maybe one effect unit, and that's it. That would
Sure.
be so. And then be
Exactly.
able to play like 45 minutes or something like that. But I find it pretty hard to not want to take more and more with you. So
True. True. No, it's true. Yeah, it's hard. It's just hard to take stuff, right? 'Cause you gotta like pack it up, put it in your car. Like it's a lot. Um, but I'm finding currently my setup with the Rolly and the one case is
mhm, mhm.
very. It's like very elaborate. Like I also carry another keyboard, like a mini, just like a just as a controller, like a little one.
Oh yeah, I have the
Um,
one too.
so then I can do both the Rolly and that, and then
Mhm.
into the one case. It's yeah. I mean, I would like to get another oscillator into this case, so I might do that. But three oscillators is plenty, honestly. You can do a lot
Yeah,
with
I
that.
guess so. That's true. Yeah, always have to think about the concert with Sam Prekop, and he also, I don't know, I think he had one case with him, and what was it? He had a malt, I think, a malt module, which doesn't need to be plugged into the power source, and he just, with gaffer tape, he just put it on top
Oh
of
my
his case
gosh, it's a
because he
really
didn't have
funny
any more.
idea.
Yeah, very adventurous, but it
Right?
worked, and he could use
Yeah,
it. So
that's funny. Wait, he doesn't want to
that's
use
funny.
like
Yeah.
these things. Wait, where's my
Ah,
pen?
yes, yes, yes. That's a better idea, probably,
I
to use it instead of. Yeah. So if anyone has any questions left, now is your last chance. I always don't know how to say it. So far, it's
yeah.
been very interesting. Thank you so much, Danielle. I could talk way longer about that, but I guess maybe I don't know. Maybe we could do another live stream with
Yeah.
some, where you show the spectral processor more in depth, or with your FM modulation and stuff, with some sound examples,
Yeah, that would be really fun.
maybe.
Definitely. Thank you so much. This is really fun.
This is fun, yes. So, no more questions. Then I think, yeah, 1.5 hours almost. So,
Oh my gosh. Yeah, once we get talking, like it's hard to
yeah,
stop.
it's time flies,
Because
definitely.
honestly, in like your day to day life, how many people can you talk about modular synthesizers with?
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to come to Super Booth next year. So there are
Yes, I will love
all
to.
people who only want to talk about exactly that, or mostly that.
Sure.
So that's really, really funny
I love it.
and a great vibe. Yeah, so thank you so much for the beautiful performance and the explanations.
Thank you.
And yeah, see you soon and have a great day.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone.